Mr. Dan Braden is a local architect, and Dan is one of the founding members of Hibiscus when it was first incorporated in 1985 and has been a board member since 1985. So, Dan, can you talk a little bit about your involvement with Hibiscus?
Well, I was approached by a client who said they needed an architect because they were talking about providing this shelter. And I think I asked her what I got out of it, and she said I could be on the board. So that's what I got. I think it's hard to turn away from the mission. I mean, we've spent a lot of years. In the very beginning, there was a lot of volunteer work. Now we have a staff and a lot less need for the actual physical labor of the volunteers. I know that over the years, our board members and stuff have done everything from painting the shelter to laying sod on the shelter.
Wow, I did not know that.
Back, we used to have board work days every 6 months. And I mean, if you're out there once,
wow.
I was out there once painting, and there was a little boy next to me who was in the shelter, and he was helping paint too, and he was 4 or 5, and we were talking and stuff, and he had marks up and down his arm from where someone had put a cigarette out on him. And he's 5. I mean, how do you walk away from that? I mean, it's hard to understand. I mean, we've been around so long that all those children now, they probably have their own children.
Right.
And hopefully they've learned to break the cycle of abuse, which has always been the biggest point, is that when you're 2 or 3 years old and you go home and your parents smack you around, as far as you know, that's normal, because your friends go home and you think that happens to them. So you've got to educate the children at a young age, so when they grow up, they know that that's not acceptable behavior. So you can break what we call break the cycle of abuse. And I've stayed involved because I don't want to leave. I mean, it's when you're in the beginning of something, it's kind of like when you go out and make the path. You're the first guy to lay the grass down
Sure.
and create a path.
Sure.
Well, you certainly want to maintain that and keep that going.
So it just resonates with you. I mean, it's part of your identity, I think, right?
Yeah,
Would it be safe
I mean,
to
it's
say?
something that I identify with, and I grew up in a great house with great parents and siblings, and my wife and my daughter, they're all great. And I just know that some people don't have that advantage, and it's kind of sad that people heap such abuse on defenseless children. Some of those first kids we have are probably 45, 50 years old now.
Wow.
I mean, if
I
you
didn't think about that. Yeah.
35 years ago, and well, they were 12 and under, so they're full-grown adults hopefully with healthy children and intelligent child-raising abilities now.
Well, we're grateful for your service as well.
No problem.
Were you involved with the initial construction of the shelter?
Yes.
And you've also been involved. You also supervised the renovation.
Yes.
Which,
and we
by
did
the way,
village
is
too.
top notch.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's top notch.
It really is.
Turned out better than I could have even envisioned for us. So thank you for that
Sure.
too. Well, we appreciate you both, and we a year ago we wouldn't have known where we were. We wouldn't have guessed where we were in terms of the pandemic. But you guys have kept the faith through 30 and 35 years, and Hibiscus is better. Our community is better for it, and we thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Sure.